want to talk about the people who are left behind. They are very likely left behind in school, traditional school. And definitely they're left behind when it comes to signing up for things with different coaches, whether they're trying to get their business off the ground or whatever it is. And not it's not working. It's not working for them. And I came from a background, I took a teacher training course. I mean, it was a years long teacher training course in 2011. It started in 2011. And it was teaching from the perspective of like the involution of energy. So everything comes through this involution from inspiration to form. That's what my manifestation work is based on. And when you teach a class that way and you hit all the elements in that involution, then everybody in the room gets it, like because it touches all the learning styles that are present and it becomes cellular more than just intellectual. And what I see so often is, including myself, people joining coaching courses. And if you're joining at a lower level, whether it's the free class, the $22 master class, even a mini mind, you're doing that because you want a taste of what it's like to work with that coach. And if you do that and it doesn't work for you, and it doesn't work for a lot of people, some people choose to either buy the next higher thing with that coach because they're like, well, if I'm not getting it, but other people are, obviously it's me. So let me go find, the next level, like that's going to get me better. Or they go find a bunch of other coaches and they're still not getting it and they're still frustrated. And now it's been a year and a half and there's been almost no movement in their business and they don't know why. I'll tell you why. Coaching, training, teaching, the coaching world that I have seen is so much based on visual and auditory. Now, when I was teaching, I was teaching a lot of massage, energy work, body work, things like that. I taught communications. I've taught many things, but it started in the massage and energy world. And what happens in that world is you see immediately if your teaching is landing. So you talk about it, you demonstrate it, you answer the questions, and then they go do it live. Now the questions really come up. Now you can see, like, is this implementation actually fucking working? So you get immediate feedback as a teacher, and then as a student, you have the immediate opportunity to ask questions and have access to what you need to get the job done. So, what I see in the coaching world over and over and over and over, and I mean, I think it's just like, this is how I was coached. It worked for me. So I'm going to coach that way too, is lecture. And it's on a webinar. And people maybe answer in the comments or something. And so people, their students, their participants leave inspired, excited, juiced up, that was like really good channel. Like that felt really good. Yeah, that sounds like something I could go do. And then they don't or can't do it. It doesn't live in them. It's in their head. It's in their head. But it doesn't live inside of them. They don't get it yet. And I know that high touch coaching takes you there more, but even in that space, like I've been in hot seat coaching and the coach is just telling me what to do. Same thing. It's just intellectual. So, one more story for myself. I, as a manifestation coach, um, have taken other people's manifestation courses because I'm like, holding yourself in your own process is not the same as being held, right? And so I paid for a year inside one of them, and it did not work for me. And it was all about like subconscious reprogramming. There was some change. I honestly think that, like, because I've done so much work in my life, that if I'm doing it, it was still somebody else's program, but I was like responsible for doing the practice or whatever. It's too easy for me to bypass my own stuff. Like I need actually like somebody with me, supporting me and guiding me. And anyway, so it didn't work for me. There were a few things I manifested, but I would have manifested them anyway, to be perfectly frank. I came out of it after a year, not really better off, not really very changed. And it was all mental again. And again, that works for some people. It depends where your stuff is. But so many of us, our layers they're not just in our mind. We don't just need mindset work. They're not just in our subconscious. We don't just need subconscious reprogramming. They are in our emotional, excuse me. They're in our emotional body. They're in our physical body. They're in our mental body. They're in our spirit body. Like we have all these layers of us, and all these coaches, all these programs, all these teachings usually address one layer primarily. And so then people fail, this is in quotes if you're just listening to audio, fail over and over and over again. But it's not the failure of the participant. It is the failure of, I wouldn't even say the coach. I'm not saying that they should know better. But it is the failure of the system that we keep playing out that starts when we're 5 years old. Well, I mean, kindergarten's actually probably better than anything we get after that. It starts when we're 6 years old that tells us that there's one way to learn. And we all know that there's not now. We know there are all these different ways to learn. And yet people keep re implementing the same thing. And then they're like, well, coaches are like, well, it's up to you to implement it. Where's your action step? I've given you everything you need. And I'm going to tell you from my personal, because I'm a very kinesthetic learner, which means I need to practice it. I need to do it in real time for it to really integrate into my life. And sometimes that means doing it once, like a mini version once or a mini version twice. And if you're just telling me stuff, and even if I'm like typing back a response to you in a webinar in the comments, like I'm not going to leave and like know what we talked about. I'm not going to leave and know what we did. I'm not going to leave. And then I'm like, do I need to like literally go back and listen to that whole thing again, take notes? And then I do this sometimes, go back, take notes, and then create my own exercises that help me like integrate and embody it because I didn't get it from the coach. So then I'm like tripling the work that I'm paying somebody else to do for me. So for all of you who feel left behind, and the teachings you receive for the growth that you're trying to attain is not landing for you, and you would like to participate in 5 steps to ecstatic manifestation. It's not just lecture, there's participation, there's verbalization. It starts with a webinar. I'm hosting the webinars on Thursdays, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And then we are going to skip one, so just check the dates. But 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And then there is a 5-week 5 steps to ecstatic manifestation group that I'll be holding. And it's rolling. So you can start at any of the steps and take all 5. And it's only $500, which is real cheap. But come to the webinar first. See if it works for you. See if you're interested. All the parts of you are begging begging to be coaxed and seduced toward the same outcome that you have been seeking for years, probably at this point, right? And it's not your failure. You're just not being met.